Hello guys, and welcome to my beginner actor series. In this video, we're going to be talking about how you can get your very own high quality professional looking actors headshots at home. You don't need the most expensive equipment, you don't need a fancy camera, but if it's available to you, use it. All you're going to need is your basic iPhone and some basic knowledge on photography. Whether you're just starting out or if you're looking to refresh your photos, this is the guide for you. So why do headshots matter? Your headshots are going to be your first impression for what any casting director is going to see. It should look like you on your absolute best day. Without an Instagram filter, without any extra crazy editing, without looking like you just blurred yourself to death, that's what your headshot should look like. It should look like you, clean, clear, and under control. I think that's Neutrogena saying. And it doesn't have to be an expensive investment for yourself. It just has to show clarity. I could see everything going on with your face, as it is. It has to exude confidence, unless maybe your character type doesn't exude that. So I'm just going to read off my little list of some things that you may need that will help you out. First things first, a smartphone, iPhone, Galaxy, whatever you got. Or if you happen to already own a digital camera, and I'm not talking about like the cute little ones that are super trendy right now. I mean like a DSLR camera, a mirrorless camera being Sony, Fujifilm, Canon, Nikon, etc. Next, you're gonna need a tripod, or what I like to do sometimes when in lacking of a tripod, a stack of books or a stack of boxes that can help get you the photos you need at the angles you need. Then again, ideally a friend might be able to help you out a little bit. The biggest one here that I think is going to make a huge difference is natural lighting. If you don't have crazy lights and photography equipment, natural lighting is going to be your best friend, and 9 times out of 10 it's typically preferred and worked with when it comes to actors' headshots, because that is going to give you the most realistic, clear image of yourself. Next, you're going to want to have a clean or neutral background. Sometimes I also like to work with greenery as well, just like not too much and not where it's so distracting. You can look up a couple of different examples of actors' headshots, but I know for myself, I have hazel eyes, so anything green in and or around me looks great for photos. You're going to want to keep with solid colors, preferably jewel tones. If you're someone that's done like the Korean color matching thing, that would be in your best favor, because those are the colors you want to work with. And you're also going to want to stay away from logos. No excessive patterns, nothing that's distracting, nothing that's excessive, like loud prints that would make people more so look at the print over the moneymaker. And also for the outfits that you choose, you want to make sure they're outfits that go along with the roles that you want to play, or the typecast that fit you best. I would say you really only need 2 shots. One will be called your commercial shot, which is going to be much more bright, much more preppy, colorful. Play along with that. And then you're going to have your theatrical headshot, much more serious. I call it the CW shot because I feel like sometimes when you do it right, you look like you belong on like Vampire Diaries for whatever reason. This is typically going to be a little bit darker, a little bit more serious, maybe more blacks, a leather jacket, whatever suits your vibe. If nothing else, if you learn nothing else from this, those are the 2 shots that you need. I know some people who are also in the medical field and they wear their uniform, like a nurse. That would be more so character headshots. Now, in terms of hair and makeup, this is where it can get a little finicky. If you're someone that's really particular like me, it can almost be too much. And I say that because I am a natural curly girl. So I've been told by other headshot photographers, no, you don't need to straighten your hair. That's actually what they're going for right now. They want to see the curls. They want to see all that stuff. And I'm like, cool. But because I'm also mixed race, I'm someone that has to be cognizant that if they're looking for an indigenous role, roles that I've played before myself, because that is part of my background, they're not looking for a curly-headed girl. They're looking for stereotype or the typecast of what an indigenous woman would look like, meaning I would have to straighten my hair. So be cognizant of that. When you're choosing the type of looks that you want for your headshots, play into everything. Also, some people are just very much into whatever their look is, and they will not deviate from that. I know some people, like, their look is having really bright, excessive red hair, not like a natural pretty ginger, like a in-your-face red hair. There's nothing wrong with that, but just know you're going to be stuck to whatever that type of character would be, like a punk rock person, a hipster, barista, whatever. Going into makeup, you want to keep it more so as matte as possible. I know personally for myself, I love a dewy look. I love lots of glitter. I love lots of glow. You're going to want to keep it matte. Very simple, a little concealer here and there if you have spots. I know I get sometimes acne spots around my face, so annoying, but just simple cover up so it looks all consistent. If you like a tinted moisturizer, something of that sort, or if you want, you can even hire a makeup artist for this. For the dudes, I believe you guys kind of get more into facial hair and stuff like that, which again, that's personal preference. If you know you're a babyface dude and you rock the babyface rolls, go for it. If you're a much more rugged dude, keep your beard, just keep it looking clean and trimmed. This is the big one right here, the lighting. The lighting will be your make it or break it when it comes to doing headshots. Why? Because if you have shit lighting, if you have bad lighting, you're gonna have grainy, crappy looking headshots. The best lighting that you can find won't be the outdoor direct sunlight. Actually, it will be sitting by a window, kind of like where I am, with a little bit of diffuse lighting. I have some linen curtains up, and that kind of helps diffuse the harsh lighting. But it creates for a nice, soft, natural light to come in. That just gives nice, gentle shadows. You see how I look without the shadows on my face being too harsh. When it comes to good and bad lighting, that's what makes a difference between you looking like you're telling a horror film or a horror story and you looking like you just woke up getting actual 8 to 10 hours of sleep. You're gonna wanna avoid very harsh overhead or direct lighting. Now, again, if you have a professional photographer, they obviously know the typical setup that you would need for headshots, but 9 times out of 10, again, you're working with your iPhone. You can also play with the portrait setting, which can make really nice photos. That's literally what I did when I first started out. I didn't have a penny nickel dime to my name, but I had an iPhone and I had portrait setting and my sister willing to take a couple shots of me. I would also recommend that if you have to be outdoors for your photos, if possible, look at the weather and see if you have really good overcast. That actually probably the best for basic photography. Tyra Banks was right. Smile with your eyes. This is right here, the money shot where you're going to be making your coin. That's the most important part. You got to make sure your eyes are in focus when you take the photo, because that's what how are you expressive right here in the eyes. Everything else can be fabulous, but if you look like, girl, nobody want to hire you. But if your eyes are expressive, intentful, soft, dreamy, whatever kind of works for you or exudes your energy, work with that. A lot of casting directors say they don't like the slight parting of the lip. Understandable. You're not just working with face, you're working with your shoulders. So if you're like me and got fabulous little shoulders, kind of work with the angles and play with that. This gives a different vibe from if I give you a little shoulder. Sometimes, especially like in New York or in Atlanta, there are photo studios that you can go to where they have different backgrounds and you can just pull it down and switch out for different colors of the background. I love playing with colors of backgrounds. That's just me. That's what I like. For one headshot session that I did, literally a photographer just booked a whole bunch of actors and we were working around a hotel. But because he had a nicer lens and just the way he was taking the photos, I mean, you would think we were in a studio. So get creative, have fun, work with what you got. That's pretty much my big MO when it comes to acting headshots and just anything pertaining to the industry in general is work with what you got and have fun. I know I'm a Pinterest girl, so I will sometimes look up other actor headshots that I like or that may fall into my category or type and kind of see what they did, what color combinations. Please do not make your face overly blurry. I've literally seen, and I have sympathy because there was an older actress and she didn't look bad, but her headshot was like blurred as hell. And I'm like, you do not look like them in person. You do not look like you just slapped on a whole bunch of that Maybelline Dream Mousse foundation and walked out the door. I would also say, just as an extra tidbit, maybe take a couple full body photos as well, just so people can see what people look like, or so casting directors can see what your full body looks like, especially for auditions. I just have a couple of those saved so I can just throw it in there. Like, I don't really think people do crazy filters in this day and age, but no VSCO filters. I definitely don't think anyone does the old school Instagram filters, but just don't do that. If you are so lost in the process and you just feel like you're not getting the best representation for yourself, I will personally recommend one of my favorite headshot photographers, Joe Funk Photo. He's taken my photos for a couple of years when I first started acting, and his photos cultivate results. So If you're curious about who to go with, that's my personal recommendation out of Atlanta. I believe he works out of LA too, depending on whatever the circumstance is there, if he's in town and whatnot. But he's very, very kind. He's very, very patient. And he's willing to explain everything in the process to you as well. I know some people are a little fidgety, like how it works, and gets nervous about how to pose. Oh, I'm not a model. You don't have to be. He will direct you and he will make you feel comfortable. If you're just not sure, ask him. He's a great dude. And if you found this helpful, please leave a thumbs up. Maybe even leave a comment or two telling me about maybe some of the looks you want to go for. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Please stay tuned for the next video. I'm making this a whole series. I feel just the basics for people to get started with acting. But thank you guys so much for watching. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.